everybody, and welcome to this joint webinar between Informa Telecoms and Media and Infinite Convergence Solutions on the topic of enterprise messaging, powering customer engagement through mobile messaging. My name is Pamela Clark-Dixon. I'm a Senior Analyst at Informa Telecoms and Media, working in the Mobile Content and Applications Intelligence Centre. Joining me today are John Puma, Vice President of Product Management, and Miles Norton, Regional Vice President of Sales Americas at Infinite Convergence. Just a couple of housekeeping matters. We will be taking questions, answering questions at the end of the webinar. Please, though, continue to send them during the webinar and we'll answer at the end. Also, a copy of the recording of this webinar will be available to you within 48 hours. Okay, here's the overview of our agenda for today. I'll start with a brief introduction in which I'll also ask for your participation in a short poll. I'll then move on to setting enterprise messaging in the context of mobile messaging before examining some use case scenarios and benefits of enterprise mobile messaging by industry vertical. We'll take a look at some of the enablers and inhibitors for enterprise mobile messaging before Infinite Convergence will drill a bit deeper into some of the topics I've introduced, and we'll close out with some takeaways and Q&A. So this webinar aims to answer the following questions. What is mobile messaging in the context of the enterprise? As an enterprise, why should I use it? How can I best use mobile messaging to add value to my company? And what do I need to know to ensure the best possible outcome when adding mobile messaging to my business processes or to my customer-facing communications? But before we start, I'd like to ask you to please participate in a short poll. This is the first of two questions for which I'd ask you to indicate your response by using the polling tool that should be appearing on your webinar screen now. I'll be providing you with the results of this poll question shortly. The poll results will also be available to you after the webinar. So the first question is, what is your main reason for joining the webinar today? And the options are: my company doesn't use mobile messaging but would like to. My company is interested in mobile messaging use cases. My company would like to expand beyond SMS. My organisation is investigating mobility features and services, or this is not applicable to you. And we'll just wait a couple of seconds for those results to come up. Okay. Right, okay. So while we're waiting for those results to come through, I'd like to briefly discuss the way in which mobile messaging has evolved over the past few years and what some of the upcoming technologies are that enterprises will likely want to start incorporating into their mobile messaging strategies. SMS and MMS have been around for a number of years now and are pretty much standard on all mobile devices. It's these two technologies that enterprises have tended to most use when engaging with their customers, simply because of their reach. More recently, however, mobile email and instant messaging services have become more commonly used on mobile phones. In fact, ReturnPath recently stated that more than half of email opens globally during the holiday season occurred on mobile devices. On Christmas Day, for example, 62% of email opens occurred on mobile devices, according to the company. But if we look to the future for enterprise messaging, IM applications such as WhatsApp, Viber, Skype, BlackBerry Messenger are becoming incredibly popular. More subscribers are signing up to receive push notifications from the applications provided by advertisers and brands. And on the horizon, we also have web real-time communications, which will provide the ability for enterprises to embed IP-based voice communications and messaging into their desktop and eventually mobile web pages. We also have the GSMA's Rich Communication Suite. So just setting the scene for mobile messaging here now. This slide has some Informa data that illustrates the appetite for person-to-person messaging, which has subsequently contributed to fueling mobile users' appetite to use application messaging. Mobile subscribers are, in general, prolific users of SMS and MMS, and enterprises are building on the reach, availability and popularity of these two messaging bearers to communicate with their customers and to provide information and services to them. For example, in 2012, according to Informa, 7.6 trillion SMSs were sent globally, with Asia Pacific having the largest share at 4.2 million messages, or 55.7%. North America is the second largest market globally with 1.4 trillion messages, or 18.4%. In terms of MMS, there were 316.3 billion MMSs sent in 2012 globally. Asia Pacific having the largest share at 77.4%, or 244.9 billion messages, and North America being the second largest market again. In North America, MMS traffic grew 12.6% year on year to 44.6 billion messages, and global market share also increased from 10.7% in 2011 to 14.1% in 2012. According to the CTIA's figures, MMS traffic increased 39.6% year on year in 2012 to 74 billion messages, and the US itself is the second largest single market for MMS behind China. Looking at application messaging traffic and revenues now for SMS, Informa forecasts that SMS application messaging traffic and revenues will continue to grow between 2011 and 2016 at a time when person-to-person SMS revenues are declining. Global SMS application messaging revenues were forecast to reach $15.8 billion in 2016. That's rising from $13 billion in 2013. In terms of regional share, we can see that in 2013, North America has the largest share of SMS application messaging revenues, followed by Asia Pacific and Western Europe. However, North America has the third largest share of SMS application messaging traffic behind Asia Pacific and Africa. While North America has a lower share of SMS application messaging traffic, revenues are higher due to the higher per message cost of an SMS in North America and the ability for brands and advertisers to charge a slightly higher premium for content and services delivered using premium rate SMS. In total, for global SMS application messaging traffic, that totaled 386.1 billion events in 2013, according to Informa, rising to 596.6 billion events in 2016. So very much a growth trend there for SMS application messaging traffic. We now have the results for the first question from our poll. We have 30% of respondents on this call stating that they're interested in mobile messaging use cases, and 24% stating that their organisation is investigating mobility features and services. 15% stating that they would like to expand beyond SMS. So we should be able to provide you with some information that answers those requests during the course of this webinar. Thank you very much for your poll, for your votes. Okay. So if we move on to MMS application messaging traffic and revenues, the picture of growth also applies here. Global MMS application messaging revenues were forecast to total $1.4 billion in 2013, rising to $1.8 billion in 2016. And for traffic, 95.4 billion messages in 2013, rising to 142 billion by 2016. By region, Asia Pacific and Western Europe are the two largest markets for MMS application messaging, followed by North America. And we attribute the popularity of MMS-based services in China, such as MMS newspapers, for much of the region's share in MMS application messaging revenues and also traffic. By contrast, Informa has forecasted MMS application messaging in North America is relatively low, but it's still growing and consequently represents an opportunity. So let's look at instant messaging, push notifications, and WebRTC. These are still relatively nascent markets, but again, in the case of instant messaging and push notifications, they're markets which are growing. Already the 5 applications listed on this slide have a combined active user base of more than 1.1 billion globally. Push notifications are also generating good results for brands and advertisers, according to Urban Airship's Good Push Index for 2013. Of those mobile users who opt in to receive push notifications, retention rates are 92% higher in the first month than for those who opt not to receive push notifications. Average monthly app opens are higher too. And to break it down by industry, more than twice as many opted-in users are still engaged with the retailer's application 6 months after downloading it. And here's a quote from Urban Airship, which I think sums up what enterprises should have front and foremost in their minds when engaging with their customers and other stakeholders on mobile. Push quality matters far more than push quantity. So it's not how many you send, it's the quality of what you're sending. As for WebRTC, well, this technology is in its early days just yet, but it's coming, initially to PC and then to mobile. The key benefit for enterprises is that they should be able to use it to provide a better customer experience to their customers by enabling customers to contact them directly from their websites via voice and eventually messaging. The GSMA's Rich Communication Suite is another technology that mobile operators are deploying on their networks, and that will also have use cases for enterprises in terms of customer care and communications. So the building blocks are all in place for mobile messaging. The Reach, everybody has a phone that can receive mobile messaging. Messaging has proven appeal to mobile users. SMS and MMS in particular are based on a carrier-grade infrastructure. There are proven use cases within multiple industry verticals, and typically it's the case that within those industry verticals, with companies within those industry verticals, it's typically the case that a company starts out using mobile messaging in one business unit and then expands it to another as the use case proves itself, and they start to think, wow, how else can I use it to start to generate better customer relationships, to generate increased revenues, to reduce my costs, to streamline my processes, and so on. The other thing that's worth noticing is that the provisioning of enterprise mobile messaging can be outsourced. Enterprises don't have to do this all by themselves. There are a number of companies out there who can help them to start using mobile messaging within their own businesses. So here's some data from Infinite Convergence's 2013 Mobile Messaging Trends Study, which again serves to illustrate the dependence of mobile users on their devices and their desire to use mobile messaging not only for person-to-person communications, but also for communications with enterprises and for receiving content and services from enterprises. Some of the key findings include the fact that 91% of respondents read mobile messages within 15 minutes of receiving a notification. That's quite significant. Mobile users are very engaged with their devices. 78% have them within arm's reach more than 10 hours of the day. As I mentioned before, targeting is also key to customer engagement. That's underlined by the finding that 48% of respondents would communicate with enterprises using mobile messaging, provided that the messaging communications was personalised. From the consumer perspective, 36% of respondents are already subscribed to text alerts from enterprises, and 90% of those receive between 1 and 5 texts a month. In terms of usage in the enterprise context, 45% of respondents are already using mobile messaging for business correspondence, and 90% of that communication is SMS-based. Again, looking at mobile users' propensity to engage with different vertical industries using mobile messaging, there was a good appetite from respondents regarding their use of mobile messaging within various industry verticals. As you can see, half of respondents would make or confirm travel plans, while a third each would share medical information with their doctor or communicate with their bank. A lower proportion rated receiving offers and promotions as being important, but the lower appetite for this use case among consumers is likely related to concerns about being spammed. But to what extent are businesses actually using mobile messaging? Well, according to a survey of Fortune 50 companies carried out by Burst & Marsteller, a high proportion of them are using mobile communications to reach their customers and other stakeholders. 62%, 58% have mobile applications. However, only 39% are promoting their mobile offerings on their websites, and just 22% are using SMS. So clearly, this represents an excellent opportunity for enterprises that have not already started using mobile messaging to start using it to communicate with their customers, and perhaps this can be a way of differentiating themselves from their competitors. Now we'll turn to some of the vertical industries which have most used mobile messaging. First and foremost, the marketing and advertising industry, which has been using SMS and MMS for a number of years, across a number of different use cases, as detailed on this slide. Informers forecast the revenues from the use of MMS in mobile advertising. These were forecast to total US $1.9 billion in 2013 for SMS and US $334.3 billion, $334.3 million, I apologise, for MMS. SMS and MMS revenues from mobile advertising are forecast to almost double by 2016, up to US $3.7 billion and US $647.4 million respectively. Looking at North America, the region takes a fair chunk of these revenues. For SMS, it's about 16.5% over the forecast period, and for MMS, about 17% in 2013, rising to about 20% by 2016. In terms of use cases, as you can see, SMS and push notifications have the most number, ranging from competitions and promotions to customer relationship management, event-triggered messaging, and so on. The retail industry has also engaged extensively with mobile messaging, which has a number of similar use cases, as you can see from this slide. On the consumer side, these use cases include advertising and marketing, surveys and voting, loyalty, customer relationship management, competitions and promotions, links to social media via SMS. On the enterprise side, the use cases are listed there on the right-hand side of the slide: employee communications and broadcast, online status ordering, text for information, lead generation, emergency broadcasts, and product availability. Key determinants of success for enterprise use of mobile messaging in retail are reach, the ability to analyze data that's collected as a result of any campaigns the retailer has conducted, return on investment, which is obviously key for retailers. They need to be sure that a mobile messaging campaign is as productive for them as a campaign in another medium, for example mass media, or even more productive. And security is very important. At any point where a customer is entrusting their data to an enterprise, they need to be sure that it's kept private and protected and not made available at any point to unauthorized third parties. Turning towards the travel industry, again, there are a number of use cases here as listed on this slide, most of which are also being employed by various providers of travel services, and especially airlines and hotels. For example, in the hotel industry, text to concierge, mobile check-in and out, requesting of upgrades, inquiries, inbound inquiries. In the airline industry, again, mobile check-in, mobile boarding passes, departure information. On the enterprise side, being able to offer special offers on airfares, room upgrades, emergency broadcasts or alerts, for example, if a flight's delayed, customer relationship management and loyalty, group messaging, advertising and marketing, mobile checkout. Again, the determinants for success are pretty much the same for those in retail. Reliability, it's not good being offered a fair upgrade if the flight's already gone. Security, customer information such as credit card details need to be protected. And return on investment, a hotel might be able to send out a special offer on room rates to increase its occupancy rates for a particular date. In finance and banking, mobile messaging has become a key way for financial institutions to engage with and enable services for their customers in many markets around the world, including a number where the mobile might be the only way in which someone can access banking services. For consumers, being able to obtain real-time account information, do funds transfers, get alerts or authentication, make payments, send in inquiries or queries, receive mini-statements. For the enterprise, being able to send out alerts, opt-in marketing, payment reminders for bills, authentication again, secure mobile messaging, high-value transaction notifications, and real-time account information. And again, we have the same determinants for success. Reliability, if the bank sends out an alert to a customer to notify them that they're reaching a credit limit, it's vital that the alert reaches the customer in a timely fashion. Security, information and transactional security is critically important in banking and finance. A return on investment, this might be measured more in qualitative terms, for example by providing customers with reliable and secure mobile access to their banking and finance products. The bank or financial institution can then offer a service that's extremely useful to their customer. Quantitative ROI will follow via increased customer engagement or timely payment of bills, for example. So looking at the business benefits, why should enterprises engage with mobile messaging? Well, there are a number of key business benefits here, as listed on this slide, and most of these benefits apply across multiple vertical industries. To start with, there's the ability for enterprises to build awareness of their brands and of their products and services. Targeted marketing campaigns via mobile messaging can help companies to ensure they're reaching the right audience, and analytics can help further hone the effectiveness of those campaigns and may assist in future product or service development. Enterprises can also directly or indirectly increase their revenues through using mobile messaging by providing their customers with a better product or service, and they might be able to do this more quickly because of the immediacy with which mobile users engage with messaging on their devices. By providing alerts or reminders, enterprises can reduce their costs by, for example, not having to send out paper-based reminders or employ as many people in a call center. A high proportion of bills will be paid on time. A high proportion of people will attend their scheduled GP or dentist appointment. Being able to assure customers or stakeholders that the mobile messaging service is secure will also help increase user adoption and use of the service. It can be enabled both by using a client on a device or by sending an SMS message with a link to a secure location on a server. And there's benefits for internal use of mobile messaging within the enterprise, providing better communication between, for example, the human resources department and employees, or by enabling mobile workers such as account managers or engineers to update their back-end systems without having to boot up their computer or go back to the office, boot up their laptop or go back to the office. So enterprises are already engaging with mobile messaging and getting some good results across the board, whether a small to medium enterprise or a national or multinational corporation. Most of the examples on this slide are of US companies. For example, we've got a US hardware retailer which increased its average transaction value by about 400% using a combination of SMS and mobile coupons. 33% of mobile banking users in the US received a messaging alert from their bank. A smoking cessation campaign resulted in double the quit rate at 6 months compared to non-participants. In the UK, a company called Hover Travel, the only commercial hovercraft operator in Europe, announced it has about 1,400 registered users for its SMS alerts, which provide notifications of service delays or cancellations, and which can be used to send promotions. So, as you can see, you know, the benefits are applying across the board here, from small to large companies. Right. Before we go into the enablers and inhibitors, this is the second poll question for this afternoon. if your company isn't using mobile messaging, what are the key inhibitors? A lack of internal competency in mobile messaging, lack of clarity about relevant use cases, integration into business or technology platforms, concern about security, reliability and traceability, or again, not applicable if this is not applicable to you. So I'll give you a few seconds there to respond to the survey, and again, we'll announce the results shortly. Okay. While you're doing that, I'll just go on to the some enablers and inhibitors for use of enterprise use of mobile messaging. For consumers, obviously, mobile penetration and use a key enabler. Obviously, SMS and MMS are very highly penetrated on mobile, and increasingly other messaging services are becoming more penetrated on mobile. Timely and relevant communications, this is key for consumers. If they think the service is useful to them or provides them with relevant content, then they'll use it or they'll want to receive it. They may even pay money to do so. Security, SMS and MMS are regarded as secure messaging mediums, which is why mobile users are typically happy to receive services via these bearers. For an enterprise seeking to use mobile messaging, they need to ensure a degree of security for the service or content that's appropriate to that service or content. Utility, as above, mobile users will subscribe to a mobile messaging service if it's useful to them in their day-to-day personal or working lives, if it helps them to save money, if it reminds them to pay a bill, informs them of a flight departure change, or provides them with a mobile boarding pass, and so on. Reliability, again, it's key that a mobile message from an enterprise is able to not only reach the subscriber, but that it does so in a timely fashion. For enterprises, mobile penetration and use is also key. If you don't have a target audience with a large base of mobile users, it's pointless using mobile messaging. Proven use cases, as per the previous slides, there are a number of use cases that are already being employed by thousands of enterprises around the world across multiple vertical industries. And those use cases are generating ROI that's both qualitative, increasing customer satisfaction, contributing to product or service development, for example, and quantitative, increasing revenues or reducing costs. So just before I go into the inhibitors, I'll just give you the results of the second poll question. Okay, so an equal number was saying that lack of clarity about relevant use cases is one of the key inhibitors, and integration into business or technology platforms is another key inhibitor. A smaller percentage is concerned about security, reliability, and traceability. So again, thank you very much for participating in that poll, and again, we'll have the results of that sent out to you after the webinar. Okay. If we're looking at inhibitors, I've put mobile penetration and use down here again because for some types of messaging, such as IM applications or push notifications, the penetration on mobile devices in most markets is not as high as, for example, SMS. So that's a potential inhibitor, obviously, to consumers' ability to receive certain types of mobile messaging services from enterprises. Timely and relevant communications, this can be an inhibitor if it doesn't occur, as referenced earlier. Security, consumers are aware that IP-based communication services may be less secure than SMS and MMS, and enterprises have to manage this appropriately. Utility, enterprises have to be careful that that consumers have opted into the messages that they're sending out, and that these messages are relevant and useful to them. For enterprises, complexity of integration. I think a number of enterprises probably look at mobile messaging, particularly with regards to the newer IP-based communication services, and think that it's too difficult for them. How do I do this? How do I make sure that I'm not spending a lot of money on a project that's not delivering a return for me? Coupled with that, finding a high-quality service provider. There have been a few instances where companies have had a bad experience because they're using a bulk messaging provider that doesn't have good SLAs around reliability, security, and delivery receipts, for example. Finally, irrelevant messaging or spam. A number of enterprises have this perception that if they send a messaging campaign to their customers, maybe their customers will be annoyed with them because they haven't opted in to receive it, or having opted in, then found that the content or servant isn't relevant to them and they find difficulty opting out again. Okay, I'm now going to hand over to John Puma and Miles Norton from Infinite Convergence Solutions, and they're going to present their segment of the webinar on enterprise mobile messaging, setting up for success. Over to you, John.
Thank you, Pamela, for the great insights into the enterprise messaging service trends and opportunities. As a means of quick introduction, we at Infinite Convergence have been providing messaging infrastructure solutions to mobile network operators around the world for more than 20 years. While today we are focusing our webinar primarily on EMS services as a cloud-based service we are offering directly to enterprises, I just want to point out for the mobile network operators in attendance today that our EMS services also offered to mobile network operators EMS business divisions as well. In the latter case, the EMS could be provisioned within the mobile network operator infrastructure and sold through operators' sales channels. From a product management perspective, if you could go to the next slide, please. We at Infinite Convergence look at the needs of the enterprise as requirements for an enterprise message service provider. And we need to ensure we are addressing the key needs of the enterprise as they endeavor to leverage mobile services as a means by which to grow brand loyalty, revenue, and profits. For the enterprise, the service provider needs to address at least 5 key categories of needs to enable the benefits of a mobile messaging program. Summarizing these 5 key areas are security, control, analytics, technology or platform, and the one-stop shop. Today, the security of personal and corporate information is, for a number of reasons, a key area which a EMS provider and the enterprise must handle well. A service should be flexible enough to handle any security concerns of the enterprise, be it transfer of data to the EMS provider, or for very sensitive information, a complete end-to-end secure solution involving multiple secure messaging technologies like encryption or two-factor authentication. Another area of security involves ensuring there is role-based access to the enterprise's data as well as to the enterprise messaging services themselves. A EMS provider should also provide extensive control mechanisms, allowing the enterprise to control their usage of the service so as to also control costs. By leveraging role-based access, an enterprise can realize much more control of how and when EMS costs and benefits are realized. In addition, cost management is the concern of every enterprise. With an intelligent routing feature, the EMS provider can fit the delivery requirements to the routing of the messages, enabling the EMS to better match the network transport costs to the value of the message being delivered. Speaking of value, an enterprise messaging service must provide some flexible analytics to help enterprises understand how effective their EMS is, what percentage of messages are being delivered, what impact did the sales promotion have on actual sales. Without near real-time analytics, it's difficult at best to ensure marketing and business strategies which use EMS are effective. Another important consideration is the technology or platform upon which the EMS provider has built their service. Do they own and control the EMS software their service is built around? Do they have a demonstrated history of providing systems and services which are always available with high performance? Does the EMS system scale? And do they have a roadmap that is innovative and in sync with both legacy and emerging technologies? Let's admit it, SMS and MMS are relatively older telecom messaging technologies, yet these are just now in their growth stage for enterprise messaging services. There are new and emerging telecom technologies that are impacting and will impact the next generation of EMS. Pamela spoke about several of the emerging telecom and messaging standards. Ask your EMS provider where they are going. Can they be your EMS provider for the long term? EMS providers who are developing their technology for the mobile network operators must provide highly reliable and scalable systems and must be engaged in the next generation of technologies, enabling new and exciting end-user experiences. So why not choose an EMS provider who is not only developing the same core technology for mobile carriers, but who is also providing the next generation of mobile messaging solutions to them as well? Finally, if you're talking to the right EMS provider, they will also be a one-stop shop, handling all things we've just reviewed, as well as being able to do the initial setup, the end-to-end systems integration, testing, software customization, and of course, the ongoing support your enterprise demands. So here we talked about what to look for in an EMS partner. Let's take our third and final poll of the day. If you go to the next slide, please. Here in this poll, we're asking the question of what is the most important criteria in selecting an enterprise mobile messaging partner? So basically, you want to make sure that you send your reply to the telephone number that's listed here, +1 415 815 0150. So you pick either, you say poll, and it doesn't have to be on all caps, space, your choice. So if it's A, you say poll A, and if you happen to pick other, you just put poll B and then type in your text with the response that you desire to communicate. And we'll tally those up and report those here as we move forward. So next slide, please. You get that up. Benefits to picking the right EMS partner. There are many service providers out there that can address a company's enterprise messaging needs, but choosing the right partner will have multiple advantages to both the enterprise and its customers. The right partner will provide you not just with the capability to deliver messages to your customers, but will bring additional value by giving you access to better analytics and data to measure the effectiveness of your messaging campaigns. You can measure the success as a result. By enabling a single solution that can be implemented across the organization for marketing, sales, customer service, and operations, you can lower your investment. By empowering you with robust, scalable service that lets you launch marketing programs of any size and allow you to drive more revenue. All of these factors result in a better return on investment for a company. The right partner will lower the risk of your investment. Now, what do I mean by that? No single technology has the global reach as mobile messaging does, compared to email or social networks, for example. So by investing in enterprise messaging, you are investing in technology that is proven and highly effective for today and tomorrow. Moreover, the right partner should have the mobile technology expertise to give you access to new technologies like IP push messaging, mobile apps, WebRTC, an emerging standard in the web browser area that is also coming to the telecom industry. RCS, which Pamela spoke about, which is an emerging global standard in the mobile network operator industry, and other mobile technology that your enterprise can benefit from as well. So you're not spending time and money looking for additional or new partners and switching solutions as your customers adopt new technologies tomorrow. Partnering with the right EMS service provider will mean you can implement your plans quickly. Again, I'm not just talking about giving you the capability to deliver messages. When you look at the implementation of the solution as a whole, if you have an IT department, the right partner will provide the APIs for easy integration, and it will also have the expertise to customize the service if needed, and will take a more consultative approach in providing the capabilities to help you in implementing your strategy quicker and better. Once you launch the service, the right partner will give you access to the information you need about mobile messaging programs in one place. Think of it as a customized heads-up display of analytics. Analytics that can tell you how successful your messaging programs were, what percentage of your customers love your product. Run surveys and polls like we did here to learn their opinions and taste. Which marketing programs were the most successful, and much more. This kind of data can give you the information you need to make better decisions about your marketing and sales promotions and your operations, to learn more about your customers, and ultimately to get more ROI from your enterprise messaging investments. So speaking of ROI, let's examine analytics in a little bit more detail. Let's take a couple of simple scenarios. The delivery-only scenario. Any good enterprise messaging service should provide the enterprise with ways of measuring the effectiveness of one-way message delivery services like appointment reminders, financial transaction status alerts, order confirmations, delivery status updates, and provide statistics on what percentage of those messages were successfully delivered. Analytics might include a percentage of messages successfully delivered, reports on invalid numbers so that one can go back and enhance their databases since the person's mobile number may have changed. But something simple like what percentage of messages which hit their mark is very useful to understand the effectiveness of a campaign. Let's look at a more powerful analytics scenario, though, that involves a feedback mechanism. Measuring the effectiveness of a sales promotion campaign, for example. Here, your analytics should show you not only the delivery aspect, but also help you understand whether the campaign had a positive impact on sales. So if your mobile customer receives a promotion, which is a coupon for 15% off of pizza when purchased online on Wednesdays between 2 and 4 p.m., when the pizza shop sends the confirmation to the mobile, the EMS can provide near real-time analytics on the ROI for that campaign. Who doesn't like real-time analytics when it's your business. An example of another use case that we see is with large financial institutions. They offer a promotion offering a discount for check cashing services or money transfers during a certain day and time of the week. The EMS system should generate analytics tying the outbound promotion to the mobile user using their mobile phone number with the transaction or use of the service during the specified time. This will trigger a thank you message to the subscriber's mobile, allowing the enterprise to directly measure the impact of the promotional campaign. This is a fantastic way to judge the effectiveness and ROI of an EMS-based sales promotion. The same case would apply for retail promotion. Retail offering a coupon for online sales sends the coupon code, which when applied to the purchase online, results in them receiving a discount on their purchase. This results in an outbound order confirmation sent to the consumer's mobile. Bingo. EMS delivering impact with the analytics to prove it. You can see the common denominator here is the mobile number and the EMS, keeping in mind that only people who opt into these types of mobile campaigns get them. This is why the impact is so high. Measuring the impact is incredibly powerful. People read these messages because they are relevant to them. Statistics show that mobile messaging campaigns are far more effective ways to reach relevant consumers and trigger action than mailers to the house or even email. But how easy is it for an enterprise to integrate an EMS into their marketing, sales, and operational plans? A key issue for the enterprises who are not already using EMS today is how to take the first step to introduce EMS into the enterprise's business sales and operational processes. Enterprise message service providers should provide a broad and flexible set of services to enable their service with the existing business operations system. This requires EMS to not only provide you with guidelines and tools, but also offer a service to assist in the integration. Many enterprises use a CRM, MRM, or ERP type of system today. Salesforce.com is a good example. A quick way to integrate EMS into your business processes are to find an EMS that have an application module that integrates their EMS into your CRM, MRM, or ERP system that you're using today. Many different types of services are very easily leveraged when this approach is taken. The ability to distribute product update information, channel promotion campaigns, new product announcements, all from within the system your enterprise is already using today to conduct its business. A robust EMS provider will have a broad set of toolkits catering to legacy as well as current industry standard interfaces and APIs. Interfaces like HTTPS, SMTP, SMTP, XML, SOAP, MM7, just to name a few. And APIs based on popular software languages like Ruby, Python, PHP, Microsoft.NET, Java, and Perl, for example. But most importantly, they should also have an easy way to customize the service interfaces too. This can be software customization within the enterprise's application, but for those EMS providers who control, own, and develop their own EMS software platform, they will be able to provide customizations at the EMS service provider's platform as well. In this way, the minimal amount of work is needed at the enterprise to integrate with the EMS, and this also results in lower risk and quicker time to launch the new EMS service. This issue of using a service provider that owns, controls, and develops its own EMS platform plays into another very important topic on top of many minds these days: security. How can the right EMS provider help you meet your security needs? Okay, so as we discussed before, security issues are top of mind these days, so I want to take a little closer look at some security issues and what role the EMS system needs to play to help you protect sensitive information. Remember, we just talked about how beneficial it can be if the EMS provider owns, develops, and maintains the internal software that the service resides on. This directly plays into how well an EMS service provider can provide the security of both your enterprise data as well as preserve the security of your customers' data during transport to their mobile and perhaps even onto the device itself. In this picture, we are looking at just a few options for ensuring the security of the enterprises and the mobile users' sensitive information. One part of securing the company's sensitive information is as simple as putting up a VPN using a HTTP secure link between the enterprise and the EMS service itself. As a partner, your EMS provider should provide you with some recommendations on what type of security is necessary and what practices you might adopt to best fit your need. This is often based on the type of data being stored at the EMS and the type of messages being communicated to the mobile user. Many security issues are tied to who at the enterprise and who at the EMS have access to things like the company's customer data, the EMS application services that create the messaging campaign, and the EMS application that actually initiates the campaign, resulting in an EMS expense and a communication to the customer or employee's mobile device. A robust EMS offering must control access to the company's customer data as well as access to the EMS service itself. This is where we use role-based user access controls, integrated directly into the EMS service provider's offering to provide and segregate access to things like the enterprise's customer data, the generation of the EMS campaign itself, all of these things separate from the ability to actually execute the campaign. In addition, we need to talk about the end-to-end security needs of a particular EMS message. Having flexible options regarding the end-to-end delivery provide the enterprise with just the right level of security, only providing the level of service necessary and only the expense necessary or appropriate for the information being transported. Some options include two-factor authentication, where, as Pam explained, a link is sent to a secure server containing the sensitive information. The user must then go to the secure website and enter a password to extract that information. No application on the mobile device is required for this other than SMS. And the second scenario is the end-to-end encryption with a secure client app on the smartphone. This requires a special app as well as the ability of the EMS provider to encrypt the data end-to-end. Other security strategies may be needed depending on the sensitivity of the data. This would include ensuring certain processes are in place like PII, PCI DS, HIPAA, and ISO 27001 when transmitting and storing personal sensitive information. This area of security is becoming a key issue which all enterprises must address in some fashion. Your EMS provider should offer enough options to meet your needs today and tomorrow. How about we switch gears now and look at a nice tangible example of why mobile messaging should be an important part of your sales and marketing program for 2014. Here in this example, according to NCH Marketing Services, 305 billion coupons were sent into circulation in the U.S. alone in just 2012. Of these coupons, only 2.9 billion were used. This is 0.97%. Even if we triple this amount and assume that this is a very successful paper couponing campaign, it pales in comparison to the effectiveness of mobile messaging. Juniper Research says that mobile coupons have a 10% average redemption rate. You can see from the numbers, this is a much better ROI than using mailers. So let's wrap this up and go to the next slide here. So summarizing, infinite convergence plays an important role in today's telecom networks, providing the very network infrastructure and services in use today by your customers, SMS, MMS, and IM. These systems we place in the mobile network operators to deliver these services are the same services that deliver your enterprise mobile messages to your mobile customers' mobile phones. We actually own, control, and continue to enhance the software we run our EMS service on. Therefore, our EMS is very well aligned with today's and tomorrow's technology solutions. So no matter what new end-user experiences your enterprise wishes to enable, Infinite Convergence EMS service is well positioned to be the only EMS you will need. Today, the enterprise market is still just rolling out SMS and MMS, which nearly every mobile your customer uses has. As new technologies improve customer experiences, we are starting to see the use of instant messaging, OTT, or over-the-top applications like WhatsApp and others. Voice and video-based WebRTC conferencing and geofencing location-based services we're already seeing these new emerging services being used in enterprise messaging services today as new ways to establish brand loyalty, improve sales, and improve the bottom line. And as a result of the poll that we took, the most important criteria in selecting EMS, we have those results now. 40% of you chose one-stop shop, 20% chose analytics, 20% chose security, and 20% chose control. So those are the results of the poll that we took via the EMS. Thank you for your time and this opportunity to speak with you today. Now back to Pamela for some key takeaways and a wrap-up.
Thank you, John, for that comprehensive overview on what an enterprise should look for with regards to enabling enterprise messaging services within their organization and the benefits that it can accrue to an enterprise by using mobile messaging. It was also interesting to hear the survey results, so thank you for that. Okay, so key takeaways. We think that for enterprises, they need to overcome their fear of using mobile messaging. As John was saying, SMS and MMS have been most used, but there are now new IP-based communication technologies opening up for enterprises that can also help them to engage with their customers at a deeper and richer level in a way that will help them capture the captive audience of mobile with increasingly relevant communications and campaigns. Mobile messaging is also a secure and reliable communications channel, and as John was saying, there are ways of making that secure across a number of the different mobile messaging capabilities. So that addresses two of the key concerns that enterprises have these days. There have been a number of issues about data security recently. With regards to reliability, there's no point sending out a messaging campaign if your target audience doesn't receive it. As we mentioned earlier, the adoption of IP-based communication services is increasing, and enterprises need to get themselves into a position where they can start to embrace these services in order to ensure that they can increase their profits, reduce their costs, most of all remain relevant to their target market among a number of other benefits that mobile messaging services can have. Okay, so that ends our webinar for today. We are now open for some questions, but while we're waiting for those to come through, I'll just put a question to John first. John, I see we had a lot of mobile operators on the call today. What would be the benefits for operators of working with a provider of EMS, such as Infinite Convergence?
Yes, thank you for that question, Pam. Basically, the EMS service that Infinite Convergence brings to market is today it can be offered as a cloud-based service, either within a mobile network operator or separately as we're doing it today. So the service is available for both types of applications, and many operators today have support businesses that go out and sell directly to enterprises their voice and data services as well. This would be another service that they could offer to enterprise that leverages their messaging infrastructure to deliver mobile messaging today. And again, as I mentioned, with our relationship with the carriers and that we place the basic transport systems and message communication systems in the network, they would be very well aligned with the trends and any new technologies and user experiences that those mobile operators are going to be deploying over the next year or so. I'd say that those are some of the big advantages there. It really opens up new revenue streams directly to the carrier, and the carrier, as most enterprises, are also looking for new revenue streams.
Okay, thank you. We have a question here. Can you discuss how businesses can monetize alerts? For example, you can create alerts. Can you create monetized alerts for fraud, identity theft, security, and how can other verticals monetize alerts? Is it possible to extend revenue share models to third-party aggregators or applications? What would be your thoughts on that, please, John?
So in terms of monetizing alerts, usually alerts are tied to some kind of an event. So alerts could be tied to ensuring that people are going to make a reservation, for example, confirming that an appointment, and enterprises would be monetizing that by ensuring that their schedule is full. So if somebody cancels, they can call somebody and in fact ensure that that appointment in the doctor's schedule is full and therefore generating billing. I think those are, that's one example, at least in healthcare, where you could see something like that. I think that from an additional monetization perspective there, Sales promotions. If you're offering a promotional campaign, you might send out an alert to say, for folks that have opted into a particular brand, that their favorite brand of food, fast food, or maybe even a product happens to be on sale during a certain number of hours during a day, a specific day of the week. These would be potential ideas for using alerts to generate revenue.
And there's also the example, I think, here in the UK, one of the budget airlines here, EasyJet, allows a subscription SMS alert service, or offers a subscription SMS alert service for information about flight details, departures, cancellations, and so forth. So you can subscribe to that for a small fee and get information about, if there is a problem with your flight. So that's another way in which I think companies, enterprises can monetize alerts.
Yeah, and I think that goes to the aspect of also brand loyalty. If you're communicating with your customer better than your competitor is, then that's also can be monetized by that particular customer purchasing future tickets from that airline versus somebody else's, for example.
Sure. Okay, on to another question here. How can the EMS provider guarantee the secure termination of messages all the way from the enterprise network to the EMS network and then onwards to the mobile operators network? The comment is some EMS providers offer a secure VPN connection between the EMS and the enterprise network, but how can the EMS provider then guarantee secure termination onto the mobile operator networks?
Okay, so essentially the answer to that question is really the end-to-end encryption that would be there. It depends on the security, the needs of the particular application, and the data being transmitted as to what you have to worry about. As mentioned earlier, some folks are just okay with the secure nature of an SMS or an MMS as it's transmitted, using the operator's protocols themselves. VPNs are certainly useful, but then the most secure methodology is to put a secure app on the mobile device and encrypt the data directly from the EMS, to the carrier's network and through the carrier's network all the way to the end device. There are a number of different types of security schemes that one needs to look at. A lot of it depends on regulations and the type of data that you're looking to transmit. So I think Infinite Convergence would be happy to talk to any customer that's concerned about something like that. We have a great deal to bring to the table and have put together a number of different solutions. The other one that I mentioned was this two-factor secure connection, where we send a secure link to the mobile subscriber's handset, and then they log in and have to log in securely in order to retrieve that information. All these different methods have different costs and implications from a end user experience perspective.
Okay, thank you. Okay, an interesting question here. Most Asia Pacific operators feel that SMS is dead, and can we suggest any models to increase revenue? I guess there's kind of two questions or two areas for discussion there. Do we think SMS is dead yet, and what models are there for actually increasing SMS revenues from SMS? And I guess as part of that, application messaging in particular has a role to play. Your thoughts on that, John?
Yeah, I think as you pointed out in some of the data that while SMS and MMS, I think from a mobile network operator's perspective, is starting to see revenues plateau for person to person, the A2P type of, or the application to person, or the enterprise type of application of SMS and MMS are really still on the rise in pretty much all markets around the world. So I think there's a little bit of differentiation that we need to look at when we're looking at the data to draw those types of conclusions and see where the opportunities really are. Clearly, the SMS and MMS, even though they are older technologies, are really just now finding their way into the growth curve for enterprise messaging. And as we talked about earlier, dedicated applications, for the enterprise, we're starting to see, pop up, and IP push messaging and other types of new message.
Right, I think we'll probably need to wrap it up there. Again, thank you very much for your time this afternoon or today to everyone that has participated in this call. Thanks again to John and to Miles from Infinite Convergence Solutions. As I said before, a copy of the webinar will be made available within about 48 hours. Thank you very much.